we were live. Okay, so I'm going to do one of the best little short interviews that you all have seen in a while. Thank you. Oh, we got a bunch of people on here. So you all are looking on the screen at two handsome, well, at least one handsome devil, Matthew. My hair is falling out, so my handsome days are over with. So we've got a really, really good session here to do. So Matthew, before we get into the meat of what I want to talk about, let's just always assume that people are watching that don't know you, okay? And Gay and I are constantly reminding ourselves that we should always approach every session as though somebody doesn't know us and kind of give a brief interview of who we are, or an explanation of who we are. So give us a 30, 60-second synopsis of who Matthew DeGlopper is, where you live, family, age, etc. Anything you want to share like that.
Sure. My name is Matthew, of course. I'm from the great state of Michigan. I'm 40, just turned 40. I have a wife and two kids. They're both teenagers, or one's just about to be a teenager. So, it's exciting. I've been in Amazon since 2015 and selling online a little bit before that. But, that's basically who I'm. Nothing special. There's no secret sauce. It's just, that's the meat and potatoes.
All of us out here will say it is so easy to be friends or to learn from people that have a humble nature to them. And I have watched you in other interviews, and every time I've watched you, I've left with that. He is such a humble, nice person. And all of us root for people and pray for people and encourage people that have that humble nature to them. And so personally, my friend, I tell you, that's one of the things about you that drawed me to you the first time I saw you on camera was he's a nice man. He's a good, humble, gentle, nice man. Now, folks, let's jump into this. Matthew, you clicked $2 million. Here's what's amazing. If my memory is correct, you hit your first million on September 25th. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
So from September 25th until when did you do your second million?
It was, I want to say it was the 20th or 21st of December. It was just before Christmas. It was pretty good. I thought I was going to have to drag out through Christmas. It was like watching water boil to finally see that number creep up there for, year to date. But yeah, it was great.
Matthew, do you realize you did $1 million in less than 90 days?
I had no clue it was that fast. I mean, when you told me that, I was a little shocked by it. And then I had to think that if I hit it in September, it's August or October, November, December. So yeah, it was, I can't even believe it was that fast. It is so astonishing to me. It's like, for some reason, I thought it took a long time, that second million, but it went way faster than I thought. Way faster than I thought.
Now, had you, let's try to dig into the weeds here a little bit. Had you, for lack of other words, you've been buying heavy, getting ready for Q4? Is that correct?
Some, yes. I started way too late, because I just wanted to flip everything one more time. You know what I mean? The greed part of me kept saying, well, if I buy toys that aren't going to be profitable for 3 months, then, I could probably sell one item before then and then buy the toy, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. So I did wait too long on some things, and some stuff I did buy up, but it was just, I think a lot of it was this year we started out really, really slow. We didn't do hardly anything. Last year, it was a long, hard year. And then this year, we kind of took the first couple months off, and we kind of started ramping up in February. And then in March, COVID started coming. It didn't really affect my state or my area more till April and May. But it just so happens that I had retrained my RA buyer to focus on grocery and grocery items because we were selling a lot of that stuff. And I told her different steps to take to look for grocery bundles, the poor man's private label, because there's a lot of grocery bundles that are really profitable. And so she was finding these bundles, and then all of a sudden, like in April, she was bringing back all kinds of weird things, like 6 packs of green beans or something like that, and they were selling crazy fast for an incredible profit. And I couldn't figure out why. And then it hit me, half the country is shut down because of COVID. New York was, California was, and slowly, everything else was too. And so our numbers just spiked like crazy all at one time. And we instantly pivoted from doing almost everything 100% FBA to doing so much stuff FBM. And like the day I got the letter from Amazon that said, everyone got that email saying that they weren't shipping out, or that they were cutting back because of COVID. We went through and opened up all kinds of boxes we had prepped for FBA, and just, relisted it FBM, and, so lost money on the first 2 or 3 we shipped until we figured out what it would cost to ship that. And, unfortunately we didn't have, I didn't have any, didn't see any of Linda's stuff that was in the tribe then until much later. So I kind of had to stumble through a lot of those blocks on my own, learning how to do it or how to find the right box. And, so anyways, it just kind of took off. And then of course, with some of the coronavirus stimulus stuff, we were just able to scale probably way too quickly. Like, unfortunately, I think I've made some big mistakes on this path to 2 million, but we jumped into a warehouse because we needed a space, and signed a 4-year lease. It's going to cost us a ton of money. Like every time, like I think you were doing a little webinar last night, and you were showing your numbers, and you're like, and I allocate $40 a month for electricity. Well, my electric bill's like $300 a month, and my warehouse space is $2,000 a month. So it's like, I wish I could have gone backwards and heard like what Nate said, where he talked about finding excess space that someone else isn't using that you can slide into real cheap without a long-term lease. I mean, there's lots of stuff that I wish I'd seen in Tribe long before I got as neck deep as I did. But it was, you just had to do what you had to do. It's a wild ride. I pivoted and I ran full force, and I ended up where I am now. It's been a long, amazing journey. I mean, because I can still remember being a little tiny seller, getting my first 1,000, thinking to myself that Amazon would never work. I don't know how these people did it. It's so mysterious to me. And I joined a group. I think you were in the same group, and way back when, and I'd hear all the time about the 7-figure sellers. Who are these mysterious 7-figure sellers? Like, to me, it was like they were like some sort of like rare unicorn that like you every once in a while saw out in the wild. They knew how to do things better than anybody else, and so that was like my whole goal was like, man, once I can hit 7 figures, like the whole world, like the sea will part and the whole world will be fixed, and I'll be able to do everything possible because magically I'll have this 7-figure seller status. And I remember back in 2015 and 16 thinking that, oh, man, if I could just figure out what they're doing to get to that 7 figures. And then I learned it was just a lot of the same things over and over and over and over and over again until you finally, one sell at a time, one thing at a time, get there. And of course then I'm seeing like other numbers like the ones that Brandon posted. He's like feeling down on himself a little bit because he only did about 700,000. But then I look at his profit and I'm like, man, I gotta sell 2 million to get that kind of profit because my overhead is so high and my staff is so large because of growing so quickly. It's just like, man, if I could go backwards and just have me a little garage and sell 700, 800,000 a year, you know what I mean? I might not need to do much else because that's a good living. That's a good income. You know,
don't let me interrupt your train of thought. Cause let
sorry,
me tell
go
you something.
ahead.
I'm taking notes, just so you know. I'm writing stuff down here. So, and I don't want to interrupt this train of thought, but I want to say this. This is to you. This isn't to everybody else listening. This is to my buddy here. Okay. What you have learned, I'm only smiling because I'm sitting here like, if this guy only knew what he was on the precipice of achieving. Listen to me. This is to you. This isn't to everybody else. What you have learned in the last year and a half, and took you from blank to blank, and then you went from blank to blank. What you have learned in that length of time, I'm telling you, listen to me. Do not look backwards. Do not dare look back and go, oh my gosh, I did this wrong. No, 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 you did not. Dave Ramsey will tell you mistakes is simply the toll that you pay, just like at a toll road or a toll booth on a toll road. It's the toll you have to pay in order to drive on the highway of success.
Yeah.
Those mistakes, my friend, are college education. There are people, son, there are people that go through college and pay $100,000, $200,000 to get an education that do not make the money that you've just made and will make next year. So what I want to tell you is, this is private between you and I. Unfortunately, everybody else is listening. You take all of the stuff you just learned, and you're going to be able to scale from 2 million, not to 3, not to 4, but you're going to go from 2 to 5 to 6 million. And your income is going to blow your mind. What you have done in the last year and a half and learned, and I'm looking here because that's where you are on my screen. My camera's right here, but you're right there. So I'm actually looking at you when I do that. What you have learned in the last year and a half, and you make that applicable to growth, okay? How you pivoted, and that's the stuff I was writing down here. Started slow, February ramped up, March COVID hit, then retrained your RA buyer for groceries, found bundles, pivoted, the mistakes, others' ideas on renting space, Tribe 4, and Q4 War Room. Okay? If you take that and continue to apply, I'm watching your eyes go back and forth. I know how you're processing that right down in your head. If you take that and apply that, I'm telling you, the millions you will sell will blow your mind. You are on the precipice here of doing something fantastic because of what you're calling mistakes, and they are mistakes. But because those are learning. That's like a guy shooting a 3-pointer, and he goes, "Ugh, I was 6 inches back too far," and he comes back down the court, and he just simply steps up 6 inches more and grins and says, "Give me the ball. I got it this time. I have dialed this baby in, and I'm fixing to drain it." And I'm telling you, buddy, you are fixing to drain it. Absolutely drain it. Because what I was watching you, let me tell you something, I would pay big bucks. Folks, I would have paid big bucks to have listened to a guy like him before actually, I did pay big bucks. I paid a lot of money. We paid a guy thousands of dollars to teach us Amazon. Okay. And what this man here, this gentleman so tenderly has just rattled off is a college course on how to succeed at this. So I'm going to beg you all to replay. Yeah, you ought to see what people are commenting over here and the wows they're putting up. Yeah, you read that right. He did it a million in less than 90 days. I'm saying 90, but it technically is like 86 days that he did his second million this year. So Matthew, I'm telling you, I'm serious about this. Been in business a long time. What you have learned and been able to apply here is going to launch you into an incredible sphere. You keep the pedal to the floor and you keep doing what you're doing. Because I'm telling you, it's going to work in spades for you. Learn from your mistakes. Don't duplicate those mistakes. Just like the post I wrote this morning about mistakes. You know, there's a certain number of mistakes to any new business venture. I don't care if it's flipping real estate, buying and selling cars. I don't care what you're doing, Avon, Tupperware, whatever. There's a list of mistakes and you can write them down. The person that gets all those mistakes out of the way the fastest is the one who wins the award. Okay.
Yeah.
So some of these mistakes you've done here, you know, Rex Keltner will tell you some of the same stuff. He did some of the same stuff last year. Okay. Some of the same mistakes. So get these mistakes out of the way and learn from them. And then it's nothing but the sky's the limit. And I'm going to tell you something. Folks, this is how rich people get rich. Now, I'm not from rich people. I'm from very common people, blue collar people, we don't have a lot of money. My people, as a general rule, don't. We're very common, ordinary people. But I got around rich people when I was young, and Matthew, you've been around them too. When you get around people, you learn certain patterns of how they prosper. What this man has just explained to you all here, which just fires me up when I read it. And that's why I wrote all this stuff down. If you all will replay this and write this down too, started slow, February ramped up, March COVID hit. He retrained his RA buyer. See, that's smart. That's like genius thinking there. He didn't he pivoted. He retrained his RA buyer into groceries. Then they found bundles, pivoted. He had a whole bunch of stuff in FBA. Then he gets this email down from Amazon saying, whoops, we're not going to be able to. So then he has to redo stuff. So he pivoted to MFN, made mistakes, lost some money on some stuff. It didn't freak him out. He just simply adjusted the metrics. Then he started making bucks. Okay. This is how people get ahead. So Matthew, I cannot tell you how fired I am, if you was a racehorse in a race right now and I was a betting man in the stands and I was going to place a bet, buddy, I would bet on you.
I wouldn't bet on me to win any races, but except for my one with Jonathan Cleater. But
well, we just got to put you in the right race. We got to put you in a race.
True.
We got to put you in a race where it takes Clydesdales. Okay? Anybody can be a wild, crazy thing. It runs fast. It takes something else that you can slap a harness to and say, "Pull this sled, baby. Pull this sled."
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah. It's been crazy, and I think you're right. I mean, it's obviously it's learning from your mistakes and not repeating them, not falling into the same pitfalls, and then because you're avoiding ones that cost you the most, you can keep pushing forward. And the thing is like I think about the whole year, and I'm like, would I have hit 1 million without Tribe? I probably would have hit 1 million without Tribe, but it would not have been as profitable, and the second million would have been impossible. Tribe 4. Man, that coaching was able to let me dial stuff in so well, like shipping, prep, the things. It was just like tiny little things, like I was probably on my way to hitting 1 million anyways, just from sheer volume, right? But could you have done it and made as much money without Tribe 4? I don't think I would have, because I was doing things that were costing me money, and I just didn't even realize it until I was in Tribe 4. And I went through all the coaching, and then I started buying extra sessions, and I ended up I had a session with everyone except for Clay, just because I couldn't squeeze it in time before the cutoff. Yep. But I know that some of those people, their numbers weren't as high as mine. But the thing is like, as I've told other people, numbers don't matter. Like
absolutely.
A million don't get me wrong, 1 million matters, but at the same time,
no, we all know what you mean.
It doesn't matter. Like because you never know who's got that one nugget of information, that one missing piece of your puzzle, that if you just knew that, if you just had that piece of information because they had a conversation with Seller Central about something similar to you, or they had a conversation with a Walmart manager like you. So I wanted to know what everyone knew. I wanted to pick their brains. Some of the sessions didn't go the way I thought. They went completely left of. I went in thinking we were going to talk about one thing. We ended up talking about something else. And I think that's a lot of, you don't. God knows what you need. You don't know what you need. I had a session with Alan. And I was planning on talking to him about Q4 strategies, thinking I was going to talk to him about Keepa and what he looks for. And he, what he did? He talked to me about something completely different. He talked to me about networking and, talking to people in Tribe and, getting out of because I don't like to talk to people I don't know. I'm normally pretty reserved, and I have a trouble getting past my comfort zone. And so he encouraged me to do that. And I did. And I'll tell you what, I made more money in Q4 off of the session that Alan was led to have with me versus the one I wanted to have with Alan. The one I wanted to have with Alan would have made me a few dollars because I would have maybe figured out a keep a chart a hair better than I already knew it. But what he told me opened up all kinds of doors between that and War Room. And so, and without War Room and without Tribe 4, there's no way I would have went from 1 million to 2. And there's no way my 2 million would have netted me near what it ended up doing. So, being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, but I want to give you some praise for something, because you're just so generous. We didn't have this plan, folks, that and he can tell you this. Before we got on here, I didn't say talk about Tribe 4, talk about Q4. I never asked for that at all. But I want to shift it back and put the congratulatory comments here or praise on you, because here's why. You don't know of the people I know that will never spend the money and humble themselves down and sit in a classroom, so to speak, and have an attitude of, I realize I'm talking to somebody that sells less than I do, but if he can just tell me one little thing, I'll take it. And I'm going to tell you something. It goes back to what I said 10 minutes ago. You are destined for greatness, because greatness comes to people that's that humble. People that are humble. A lot of people think that it takes arrogance and swagger to prosper. No, it takes arrogance and swagger to achieve a certain level, and then you get your teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know. Okay. I know, because I've had my teeth kicked in. And when it does, you'll humble yourself down and go settle down and realize I'm really not a something. I'm really just an average guy that's worked hard, grinded it out. And that's what you've done. You told me that part you did tell me before we went on. You're just an average guy, but you grind it out and you spent the money, tucked the coaching, humbled yourself down, booked sessions with everybody, and a bunch of the people you was having sessions with, you sell more. But see, you're not arrogant. You're not like, oh, yes, but I have arrived, therefore I am. You're very humble. And you're saying, hey, I want to learn. I want to make money, and I got to learn this little stuff. It's one of the things I love about Dan. Your Dan just clocked 10 million, right? And
Yep.
everybody, and yet he's posting in the group the other day. In the group, he's saying, we're out of plastic material to ship our stuff in. Can somebody help us and steer us in the right direction where we can buy some quick? That's what I love. That's what I love about truly successful people will humble themselves down and say, teacher, pick me. I need help. I'm lost here for a second. Help me. And I just, I'm sincere about that. I love that about you.
The only reason I bring it up about Tribe is because it was an important part of what helped me get to where I need to go. But the other thing is if you ask me, what's the secret to being a $1 million seller? What's the secret of seven figures? There's no secret. Like, everything I do has been in main Tribe. You know what I mean? The things that enhanced it and made it better was in the Tribe 4 coaching. There's no secret to doing it. It's simply doing what everyone else is doing over and over again. And that's why I like the fact that in Tribe, you see, like Dan, good example, $10 million. And he's posted other things like that. You see Trevor, multi-million-dollar sellers. And then, everyone has a struggle. Everyone has an issue. They have a problem where, Amazon isn't taking a POA, or they're not, and so they will come to the Tribe and post it and say, hey, what can I do for this situation? Help me get over this hump and move my business on. And there's no ridicule. There's no sarcastic responses to it. There's no, responses that would actually get them in more trouble. You know what I mean? You have people of all levels coming forward and saying, hey, this is what I think, or this is what I would do. And that is immense to me. It's immeasurable. It
is to me too. I'm just like you. I want to be around people that make me feel better, that kind of tell you, hey, it's okay to be stupid. You and I were talking before we went on. One of the reasons why Gay and I love to do these short sessions like this is because so many of us feel stupid, feel dumb. We really do. We
Yeah.
won't go on camera and say, but we really do feel stupid and dumb and ugly and short and fat and skinny and bald and
Yep.
what, you know, we all, I mean, we really do. Everybody is two steps from insanity. Nobody has it all together. So what we have been blessed to see develop here in Tribe is truly a tribe, a whole bunch of people that's like minds, like spirits, and we all want to encourage each other. And I want to encourage you. You have just done to do $1 million in less than 90 days and then not even realize that you had done $1 million in that short of time. That look on your face was priceless when you realized, good Lord, I just did $1 million in less than 90 days. Son, if you can do that, I'm not saying son because you're that much younger than me. We're only 18 years apart. But if you can do that in less than 90 days, you are on the bench of fixing to do something great. So my encouragement to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You deserve it. Folks, I'm going to get off here. Give the dude here his shout out. He deserves it. 2 million plus now for the year, but $1 million of that in less than 90 days. In a COVID crisis, an election crisis, and all the stuff going on, this dude doesn't feel sorry for himself. It's not poor, pitiful me. Oh my goodness. You know, the difference between champ and chump is that little hump in you. And you, my friend, are a real champ. So thank you for taking the time. We love you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Gary.
See you, everybody. Take care. Bye.